Music by John Philip Sousa. You know, nothing puts me in the mind of a military march like the subject of problematic drinking. Boom, 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 boom. Center of Alcoholic Studies, Yale University. So that's pretty much the entire dorm district, right? Boom, 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 boom. So like I was saying, for me, roll up your sleeves is not just a metaphor. You know what I'm saying? That's just Gatorade.
This isn't a very unusual scene. You've probably been to parties like this yourself. Lots of them. A bunch of us kids get together at somebody's house every now and then, and there's music and dancing. And
some stoner pigging out in the corner.
The only thing different about this particular party was what happened to spoil the good time everyone was having.
The booze ran out.
It all began when the telephone rang, and Susan went to answer.
Hello? Yes, this is Susan. Wait a minute, will you? I can't hear a thing.
Will you all please shut up for just 1 second?
Thanks.
Hey, who cut the music?
Now, what did you say?
You're desperately seeking me?
When? Who was driving? How bad was he hurt?
Her dad overturned another golf cart. That's too bad.
Oh, yeah, some of them are here. Sally, Jack.
Some beefy Ward Cleaver type.
I thought Bob and Ted would be here, too. I bet they wish now they had come.
Well, that was snarky.
Well, I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye. Well, who was that?
Oh.
It was Betty. She and Dan were on the way to the movies when they saw this accident. It was Bob and Ted.
Hey, Bob and Ted have been in an accident?
She just said that.
Bob and Ted didn't get hurt. It was someone else.
Carol and Alice.
Bob was driving and Ted was with him.
Gosh, I bet they feel awful.
They ought to. The police found a bottle in the car.
Diet Snapple.
Oh, they're really in trouble.
Well, it serves them right. Anybody that'd be dumb enough to drink.
Nobody should drink and drive.
I mean, there's no excuse for drinking under any conditions. That's just what I've always thought.
Sally Field taking the hard line.
You can do.
Hey, now wait a minute.
Look right, look left, look right.
I thought all you said was they found a bottle in the car. Was there anything said about whether Bob and Ted had been drinking or not?
Future Johnny Cochran here.
Now, it looks like you're pretty quick to condemn Bob and Ted. I thought they were your friends.
Friends can never be guilty.
I'm condemning drinking. That's what I said.
You did not. You said anybody would drink it all, didn't she?
Let's jump her.
About Bob and Ted, and that's who you were talking about, too.
Yeah, Sally, how come you say that? You're prejudiced.
I am not.
You're alcoholic-ist.
Alcohol is poison, and you know it.
Hey, now wait a minute. Let's not get all riled up about this.
Well, she started it.
Tonight on Hannity.
Drinking as she does, and she knows it. She's just trying to find an excuse to tell us what we ought to do.
Oh, you make me so mad.
Oh, you make me feel so mad.
Jack didn't mean anything. Gosh, how did we get off on this anyway?
The whole phone call about the drunk driving accident.
Able to talk about something without everybody blowing their tops.
Gosh, yes, Sally. I'm sorry. I didn't really mean to hurt your feelings.
I only meant to prove you wrong.
Well, now...
Wilbur.
Now, come on, Sally. Jack said he was sorry.
Her name is Sally, and she looks like Sally Field.
But I still
What are
don't
the
agree
odds?
with him. I still think drinking is wrong.
Well, that depends, Sally. Jack's not asking you to change your mind.
He's only arguing with you out of spite.
What's so wrong with drinking? What have you got against it?
Well, in the first place, everybody knows it doesn't do you any good. It can ruin your health.
Is that what
Well, so can donuts and fried chicken, but I'll bet they never hotly debate that issue.
A lot of people drink occasionally, but I guess it could really fix you if you concentrate on it.
Sure, just like a lot of things. Pickles. You can't say pickles by themselves are bad for you, but if you eat too many, you get sick.
I stay off pickles with the help of my higher
You
power.
don't get the vitamins and stuff you need, and wham, you get liver trouble or something.
Anal warts, lupus, something. I haven't studied it in depth.
People think it is. My folks don't think it's poison either.
He's not being very logical for a Vulcan.
Say about this the other day. We got to talking about alcohol.
You see, Jack, an occasional drink never hurt anyone. Sure, liquor can cause you plenty of trouble.
It's the main reason you were conceived.
And I think it's criminal if anybody drives after he's been drinking.
It is criminal.
But let me tell you something.
Here comes the hypocrisy.
A drink before dinner in the evening is just about the best thing I know of to settle your nerves and give you an appetite.
Something tells me this guy doesn't have too much trouble getting an appetite.
And I don't object to your taking a drink once in a while, but I just don't want to ever hear of your being drunk.
So if you do, hide it well.
And my dad wouldn't tell me I could drink a little if I wanted to. Not if it's as dangerous as you seem to think it is.
Dads are never wrong about anything.
Look, I'm no baby. I know what I can do and what I can't do, even with drinking.
Oh, I've heard that before. Anybody that drinks will talk like that.
That's just the kind of talk that'll get you in
Jesus, it's like having two nagging wives.
physically. What about the way you're likely to act? You can't say it doesn't affect your actions. And I know somebody who'd back me up on that. Reverend Brewster. He was talking
Oh, there's an objective source of information.
Church.
I believe in freedom for young people. You should make your own decisions, but only in the light of all available facts.
Facts as viewed through the lens of church doctrine, of course.
Facts can condone the use of alcohol. It is a question of right or wrong. For the things people do
Pause.
when they have taken alcohol
Pause.
are not directed by the clearest thinking and the most conscientious judgment.
Understatement of the year. We have a winner!
You're forgotten. That's why the use of alcohol is wrong.
And that settles it for me. As far
You
as I'm
dislike
concerned,
me. You
it's
really
wrong.
dislike me.
Well, Sally, I go to church too.
And you
in
to
my
church
church, they
too.
don't say it's wrong to use alcohol. Whether you drink or whether you don't drink is up to you. Getting drunk is something else again.
Well, how do you feel about drinking, Susan?
Actually, I don't care one way or the other.
Let me just grab my drink here.
Drinking just doesn't interest me.
She overdosed on Charm School.
My folks serve drinks once in a while. They never told me that I couldn't drink.
A dress that says, don't even think about second base, mister.
Me if other people want to. That is, if they behave themselves.
What about the people who become alcoholic? Doesn't that bother you, Susan? Why, these alcoholics, they...
Yeah, nice job, Chucklehead.
If you mean my dad, go ahead and say it.
Okay, your dad's an alcoholic.
Everybody knows it. I'm used to it. When a member of your family gets that way, you try and hide it at first, but you can't.
Not when he shows up at your school play yelling, "Alas, poor Yorick! That's my son up there."
A lot of time helping me to understand. We had a long talk about people like my dad.
Alcoholism is a kind of illness that affects different types of people.
Member, Apathetic Doctors Association of America.
People who drink become alcoholics and others do not. We do know that most alcoholics can be helped, can recover through proper treatment. Your father's illness involves more than just his use of alcohol.
He's also an
Most
asshole.
Can control their drinking. Alcoholics cannot. Your father is one of them.
Is he laying out a syllogism?
My father's just one of those people who couldn't control his drinking.
Then I think you'd be afraid to drink.
Just because my dad's an alcoholic.
Just because of my dad.
You don't inherit alcoholism, according to Dr. Broom. No, sir. That's not going to keep me from going along with the gang.
Still, he should play it safe. Avoid alcohol and stick to
The
heroin.
gang. You don't want people to think you're a square, do you?
Do you mean to say you think you have to drink?
No, but...
I don't drink, and I get along all right with the gang.
Sure, but...
They know I'll kick their ass if they try to keep me out of the gang.
My folks would take a dim view of my coming if there was drinking.
There are plenty of guys who have a drink with their families, but when they get outside...
Could you
the house,
rotate the
they
cue card
get high and
just
put on an
a little to the
I
left?
think that's what our parents
Thanks.
are concerned about, as much as anything.
You're the only one, Jerry, who hasn't stated his opinion. Haven't you got anything to say?
Well, you see,
everybody else put in his 2 cents. How come you're holding out?
I'm not holding out.
I'm sleeping.
Well, come on, let us in on it. How do you feel about drinking?
State your view so we can all jump down your throat.
Why? Nobody else seemed to have any trouble, although we don't all agree.
Say, you know, that reminds me of...
A hard question to answer.
I think Jerry may need glasses.
Realize it, but this is the first time we've really said what we think about drinking. Listening to
Jerry?
all of them
Who are you
think
talking
and
to?
believe, I'm not exactly sure where I stand.
Jerry?
Things, there's a hard and fast rule. Either they're right or they're wrong.
And now each candidate will have an opportunity to make a final statement of his or her views.
Right. Sally, we all know where she stands and her reasons.
I think it's wrong. I
Church,
think
church,
whatever
church,
it
church,
is,
reverend,
I
church,
think
church,
drinking
church,
is wrong.
reverend,
I think
church,
that-
church, church.
On the other hand, Jack's opinion doesn't seem too unreasonable.
And my dad says a drink now and then never hurt anybody. And I think if you want to be one of the gang...
Get a crew cut and bob your head a lot.
And Tom, Although his father's an alcoholic, he doesn't seem to be afraid of becoming one himself.
The chances of
Nor is he afraid of getting mouth cancer from that monster wad of chew behind his bottom lip.
You can't blame it all on alcohol.
Susan doesn't seem to
It's a mannequin from that old Twilight Zone episode.
In my church, they don't say the use of alcohol is wrong in itself.
I think you'd have to have a few drinks just to like Susan.
About drinking. But it's all right with me if other people want to. That is, if they behave themselves.
Define
You
behave.
feel you've got to drink to be one of the gang.
That's what I say. If you want to be one of the gang, you've got to act like one of the
Jack restates his knee-jerk argument for unabashed conformism.
You mean to say you think you have to drink? I don't drink, and I get along all right with the gang.
Haven't we heard him say that before?
Concerned mainly about kids who drink deliberately.
Okay. Now they're just rehashing their points.
It's not a simple
Jeez.
question, is it? There seem to be many different opinions, even among our own gang. Each one of us...
You know, with just a little plastic surgery, this kid could be Kevin Bacon.
What do you think?
What's in your wallet? Please excuse the unnecessary apostrophe.